Hello. Hopefully this can be a long video. I have a sketchy ass battery in this camera, so for all I know this video might be cut short by an exploding camera in my hand. Maybe it will be a 30-minute video, who knows. All I know is that I want this to be sort of a train of thought, random, stupid, less formal video than some of my other ones. I know the last video I posted was literally just a stupid fucking conversation I had, so I don't know what I mean by formal, but I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to make a video for just sort of the sake of making a video. I guess that's something to talk about, is why I haven't made a video in about 2 years, give or take. And I was just thinking about that right before making this, and I always think about it. I very rarely articulate it. The extent of me thinking about it is more just self-judgmental than actually thinking about why I don't do something. I'll just be like, hey, why the fuck don't you make videos anymore? And then that's just the end of the thought. It's not a productive thought. It's just sort of, hey, what the hell is wrong with you? And then that's the end of it. It's just, it's very unproductive. But I do think about it a lot. Just, I don't articulate it. I don't articulate in any meaningful way why I do what I do. But I was thinking about it before this, and I think the reason why I haven't made anything in quite a while, and why I struggled really hard when I was making stuff, is because I set the bar so stupidly high for myself. And if you know me, you should know this. If you don't know this, then you probably don't know me very well. I am a ridiculously slow individual. And I mask that very well. What the fuck? So I have like the autofocus feature on my camera right now, and it changes between modes. So there's like portrait mode, there's landscape mode, and it's like bouncing between all of these different modes, like the moving mode, the this mode, the that mode. It just turned into infant mode. It looked at my face and then went into infant mode. What about me looks like an infant? I have no idea why it went into infant mode, but that's really insulting. I'm literally about to bitch and moan about why I haven't made YouTube videos in a while, and it went into infant mode by default. That pisses me off. That's upsetting. Goes back into infant mode. Okay, anyways. I'm just a very slow individual. I'm incredibly slow. And I've been able to mask that in weird ways. When I was in school, I masked that by getting good grades and putting like infinitely more time into studying and everything else than anyone else. Literally, I was half of the speed of the average person when it came to literally anything. It went back into baby mode. Whatever. I literally don't know what baby mode is, but it keeps just showing a baby on my screen. And that's pissing me off. I don't like that. So I have a lot of ways of masking. So in high school, it was good grades and just faking that I was a natural at certain things. I would put infinitely more time into something, but then I would play it off like, yeah, I don't know how I got an A on that test. It's just crazy. Sometimes I just surprise even myself. When in reality, I put like a ridiculous amount of time and stress, and it was just the worst. You know, like it was not fucking easy. I pushed myself to such a degree that I'm still trying to work off some of that insecurity that drove me at that time. The insecurity and anxiety that powered me through those times is still something that I notice every now and then. It still sticks a little bit, still has some residue left over. But then in my, my day-to-day life since school, high school, college, I still sort of mask by just not going into detail about my life. I don't tell people about my life very much beyond what's going particularly well. Be it, I don't know. I put on this facade that I'm very in control. I'm in control of my thoughts. It went back into baby mode, whatever. I'm very in control of my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my surroundings. And I try to be in control. I really do. But it's, again, just sort of this weird coping mechanism. Because I'm just... I'm a work in progress, to say the least. Let's tie this back into YouTube videos and why it's been such a long time. And you know what? Before we talk about that, let's get sidetracked one last time. There's this YouTube series called Space King. And it's fucking absurd. It involves these characters. It's essentially Warhammer, where there's this like weird dystopian universe where everyone's at war. But this is like the retarded version of it, where these super soldiers are all men who like get injected with like mega balls, and then it makes them like super soldiers who have like complete psychosis, and they go around abducting little boys to enlist in their armies. They're all ruled by this figure called the Space King, who's like this weird mystical figure who hasn't been around. It's literally Warhammer. It's a parody of Warhammer. Warhammer takes itself at least a little bit seriously, maybe too seriously. This doesn't take itself seriously at all. Okay? There's this series on YouTube called Space King. It's very funny. I really enjoy it. I super recommend it. It's hilarious. There's an episode where there's this character called the Imaginator, and his entire job is to just imagine solutions to problems. That's his role in this group of like space marines. The entire episode revolves around him overcomplicating everything. The episode starts out with him seeing like this wizard time bubble, but no weapons can get through the bubble because anything that passes through gets aged backwards 10,000 years. So they're shooting it with bullets that didn't even exist 10,000 years ago, so they just disappear. And so this guy is trying to figure out a way, how do I penetrate this bubble? And he's coming up with all these crazy, like weird cockamamie schemes to try to get in this bubble. He's creating this new weaponry, all these new ideas, all this stuff. None of it works. And then this guy shows up out of nowhere. Another Imaginator from a different legion shows up. And he's looking at the bubble. And he's like, huh. And he just picks up a rock and throws it in the bubble and destroys it. It's like, oh yeah, I guess a rock did exist 10,000 years ago, so it could penetrate the bubble. It's just like, the entire episode revolves around this guy overcomplicating everything until eventually he starts telling himself, keep it simple, stupid. He eventually just starts telling himself, keep it simple, stupid. Like, he'll come up with a plan, and then he'll stop himself. He's like, keep it simple, stupid. And he'll just do the most simple thing, and it always works. Like, you can overcomplicate things to the max and get the exact same results as someone who just kept it simple. Stupid. It's just that simple. And that video really stuck with me because I never had a way to articulate that feeling. I overcomplicate shit so goddamn much, so unnecessarily. And the way I've been able to put this into words is I stop myself because Perfect gets in the way of good. Good enough, anyways. Let's give an example. I want to go back to college, right? I love philosophy, but it's not a very lucrative degree. So, as opposed to pursuing philosophy, let's do something philosophy adjacent. Let's do something maybe in politics. Politics is pretty, philosophically, it revolves around philosophy, right? At least a little bit. Okay, let's do something in politics, but it also has to be lucrative because I need to make money in order to survive. So it has to be, philosophy adjacent in politics and also makes good money. All right, maybe a lawyer. Okay, yeah, let's go down the lawyer route. That involves me getting a degree in something political, maybe something philosophical, and then I have to go to law school, and then I have to study a specific kind of law. Okay, well, it has to be something that I can be proud of, something that's interesting, something that's still very lucrative. Maybe immigration law? Well, I've never really cared about that very much. And I'll just go down this insane fucking rabbit hole indefinitely until I just can't even move anymore. I'll think about a problem so goddamn much and deeply that I get this option paralysis. I can't even move anymore. Even if I come to like a decision where I'm like, you know what? Yes, I'm going to be a lawyer in blah, blah, blah law, in business law, in international law, in this or that. It is just such a daunting task that's now ahead of me that I can't move anymore. Like, okay, I came up with a plan, but it's a 50-step plan that is like 4 years long plus. And it's like, dude, I can't even move anymore. Like I've overcomplicated this to such a degree that there's too many points of failure. The plan is too long. It's not even something that I'm super interested in anymore because I added so many new unnecessary criteria to what was originally just, I want to study philosophy. That's it. That's how this started. I'm like, hey, I want to study philosophy. And then I added 50 extra steps because I wanted to optimize my time. I wanted the perfect plan. And again, perfect gets in the way of good enough. I hold myself to this weird perfectionist standard that like I'm up here, philosophy's down here. I'm up here, making easy videos is down here. I'm up here, just going on a morning walk is down here. If I want to get in shape, I have to do something all the way up here. If I want to pursue a degree, it needs to be all the way up here where I am. If I want to make YouTube videos, it can't be down here. It needs to be something up here. I need to be making Mr. Beast level content. I need to completely change my diet, change my workout routine, change my lifestyle. I need to pursue a degree that is so insanely lucrative, it will make everyone jealous. Just that I'm even trying to pursue it. And when I do actually get it, they're going to be in shambles by how insanely cool, put together, wealthy, like all these things I want to be. Where I should be, but I'm not. They'll see. I think you can see where I'm getting at with this and why I haven't made any sort of YouTube videos. Is because I'll think about, okay, what YouTube video do I want to make? And then I'll overcomplicate it to such an insane degree that I can't move. And I don't even mean that in a metaphorical sense. When I first started really making YouTube videos, I told myself, this is it. Like, I'm not even going to do this as a hobby. This is it. I'm going to do this and try to make this like a career, a lifestyle. This is going to be sick. I'm going to make all these awesome YouTube videos. They're going to be super entertaining and blah, blah, blah. And I did do that. I did that for a fair few months, making some fucking banger videos where I embarrass myself in a bunch of different ways. And, I like that. I like that a lot. I enjoy embarrassing myself on purpose. not on accident. I enjoy embarrassing myself on purpose. When it happens on accident, I don't enjoy that as much. But yeah, I made all these YouTube videos, and I like them. I enjoy them. I'm pretty proud of them. But I just kept raising the bar over and over and over again for myself, where like nothing I could make was good enough. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to make anymore, because I had these ridiculously high expectations for what it should be, until eventually I could not move. It's infant mode. I'm a baby again, I guess. Anyways, I literally could not move. I eventually found myself unable to get out of bed. And I figured it was depression. But what I really think it was fear. I had too much to do. I overcomplicated things to such a degree that there was too much. It was too daunting. I made my life too complicated to where I couldn't get anything done. There was too much red tape in every decision I made, because everything had to be perfect. And I couldn't live up to that. Because truth be told, where my expectations were all the way up here, my capabilities were, dude, it was literally, I said this in the beginning, I am not an incredibly capable person. Genuinely, I know myself. I've always been ridiculously slow. Slow in every regard. I literally move slowly. I think incredibly slowly. When people speak quickly, I straight up don't understand what they're saying anymore. I need to hear something a lot of times before I can actually understand what someone said. And again, I mask this like a fucking pro. I have got all the mannerisms down necessary to make it look like I understand everything the first time I hear it. I'm great at that. This is just to say, I never make goals in alignment with what I'm actually capable of. I always make goals in alignment of an idealized Max who should be capable of doing this, when in reality, I have no reason to think that. And the worst part of it is that, like, my academic success in the past that was completely fueled by insecurity and anxiety gave me this false confidence that, you know what? I should be able to do this. It's not that I can do it under the right circumstances, aka I'm horribly anxious and insecure 24/7, having panic attacks on a hourly basis. But that I can do this just whenever I feel like it. And it's a moral failing that I'm not applying myself enough to do this stuff whenever I so feel like it. Does that make sense? I duped myself. There was a time where I had horrible grades, and I was genuinely just fumbling around through school, and I couldn't get anything done, and it was embarrassing. I would come home consistently with like red cards that just essentially meant I got in a lot of trouble, and horrible fucking grades to show for it. And I wasn't proud of that by any means, but at the same time, that was like honest. That was like truthful to who Max was and is. Like, those grades genuinely reflected what I was capable of. When I started getting A's, that wasn't reflective of my abilities and what I was capable of. That was reflective of what I was forcing myself to do through insane amount of pain and anxiety. That was I was not actually capable of what I was doing. I was only doing it because I had no other choice. It was either I did this stuff and I got a little bit of external validation, which I had none of internally, or I don't do this stuff and I lose my mind. I have nothing else to show for the life that I was living. So it's like I had an ultimatum. I either do this and feel 1 minute of bliss when I, accomplish what I set out to do, or I don't do this and I have no idea what happens. I don't get straight A's and do everything perfectly, and who knows what happens. I lose my fucking mind. I shoot myself. I give up entirely on everything. It was an unsustainable way of living. I was not living in accordance to what I was capable of. I was living in accordance to, man, I was living in accordance to like this psycho in my head that demanded everything from me regardless of the cost. Okay. Let's try to put a bow on this. I wasn't able to make YouTube videos because I set the bar so insanely high for myself. I needed to have it be super entertaining, super interesting plot. It also had to be something I was passionate in. It also had to have, good edits, a good thumbnail, a good this, a good that. It was just, I added too many layers to it. I overcomplicated it. I didn't keep it simple, and I made perfect get in the way of good, or at the very least, good enough. I don't have New Year's resolutions. I don't give a fuck about New Year's. It's just a number. If I want to change something, I'll change it at any point throughout the year. There's nothing special about New Year's. But it sounds cool to have a New Year's resolution. If I was to have a New Year's resolution, it would be exactly that. It is keep it simple, stupid. That's it. It's so simple, believe it or not. And I feel like that is the most important advice to me in order to get anything done that I actually enjoy. I mean, I was talking to myself earlier, and I love rollerblading. I do. I genuinely do. I've always loved it. But I don't do it. And it's not because I'm physically unable to. It's because I overcomplicate it. As opposed to just putting on some rollerblades and going outside and having a blast, it has to be perfect weather. Because if the weather is not nice, then maybe I'll find out that I don't enjoy myself later. Oh, and if I'm already putting in all this effort into putting on rollerblades, I should go somewhere. It would be a lot more fun, as opposed to just rollerblading on the street. It'd be a lot more fun if I went to a roller skating rink. But I don't have the money right now. Well, okay, next weekend I'll have the money, I'll have the time. But if I'm already putting in all the effort to drive 15 minutes to a roller skating rink, pay $15 to enter and all that stuff, I should make it an event. Why would I just go by myself? That's lame. I should invite people. Okay, the battery ran out. I'm going to insert new battery and then continue. 1 sec. Hey, so I put in a new battery. I had a spare, but it's not fully charged, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. I wanted to talk about a lot more stuff, but maybe I can save that for a future video. The gist of this, at this point, almost 30-minute long train of thought is, along with that New Year's resolution of keeping it simple, I mean, the point of that to begin with is so that I can enable myself to do things I enjoy purely just for the sake of doing them. Like, again, rollerblading. I just enjoy doing it because I enjoy doing it. There's nothing else to it. I don't enjoy doing it because it's healthy. I don't enjoy doing it because I like the look of wearing rollerblades. It makes me look incredibly gay. No, I do it because just the act of wearing and rollerblading feels good in of itself. Just the act of engaging in philosophy is in of itself. There's a term for this that I can't remember, but it is in of itself gratifying. There's nothing else to it. It's not that it has like some long-term benefit or anything like that. I just enjoy doing it. And it doesn't need to be more complicated than that. And just the act of recording myself and uploading it and sharing my thoughts with people is in of itself a very good feeling for me. I've always loved making videos. I never posted any of them because I didn't feel like they were good enough. I overcomplicated. I didn't get. I'm trying to say words, but my brain's melting. I didn't keep it simple, stupid. I always convinced myself that it wasn't good enough or this or that. I want to just keep it simple and do something I enjoy, which is make YouTube videos, not for any greater reason, not because I want to be Mr. Beast, not because I'm trying to prove anything, but just because literally just the act of making videos and uploading it feels really good to me. I just enjoy it. So maybe look forward to that. I don't want to make any promises, but if I keep it simple, maybe you might see more videos in the near future. Bye-bye.